We were discussing about the Vivaha Samskara, and we were in the introductory part of it. Now, another very important question or understanding has to take place before that is the responsibility of choosing the partner is on whom? That's a question to be answered, because we have got diversified answers for this, and what is reasonable and what is logical, we have to pick it up among those diversified answers. Now, in those parts of the world where child marriage is practiced, of course, as on date, child marriage in many places they have banned it and they say it is illegal. But still, under the very nose of the law, even today child marriages are taking place in several societies. So in such societies, the responsibility of matching the bride and the groom for Vivaha Samskara, it is on the parents. So the parents should be complete responsibility, because the bride and the groom are small children. So they will not be in a position to select their life partners. So the responsibility is on the parents. So the parents take upon them this responsibility and try to find a suitable match for their son or for their daughter or whatever it is. Now, once this child marriage is not healthy, is not acceptable, that's what I was telling in the earlier classes. Roughly, it could be 18 years and 21 years. 18 for the girl and 21 for the boy. They'll be able to lead a healthy married life. For that is required. That is physical maturity as well as mental maturity and knowledge of the social and spiritual implications. All these are required to see that the Vivaha Samskara and that phase of life is happy, comfortable, altruistic, so many things. If the parents continue to take the decision regarding the life partner of their children, even now after the child marriage is banned, seems to be a relic of the old tradition, but is not suitable for the present time. So it's better, it's their life, they are choosing their life partner. So they have to be given full freedom to choose their life partner. It's up to them. So here, the role to be played by the parents has to be that of a guide, a counselor. So they give counseling, they give them some guidance, but the final decisions have to leave it to our children only. They have to choose their own life. Now this appears very, very progressive, but this is what is said in the Vedas. In the Vedas, they have very clearly mentioned this. I have already taught you one. Sa mitram vanute janichit. That's a quotation from a piece of the mantra. It says, Sa, she, vanute, she chooses. Sa vanute mitram janechit. Her friend, her life partner among the suitors. There are many people who want to marry her, who want to have her as their life partner. Among them, she chooses the one whom she likes most, the one whom she assesses as a suitable partner. Sa mitram vanute janichit. Now certain points are there here to understand. Number one, as I told just now, that it is their life and how to build up their future life, that responsibility should be given to them only. You have heard of what's known as a Swayamvara. Swayamvara, that is to choose their own partners. That Swayamvara is what is explained in the Vedas. In the Vedas, they speak of Swayamvara, to choose their own life partners. They are free to choose their own life partners. This is one thing. Then, if they are choosing the right partner, we say yes. The elders will say yes, go ahead. If some problem is there, if they foresee some problem due to some reason, they should play the role of a counselor, a guide, and tell them, okay, look at these points. There could be some problem in future because there is no compatibility, there is no understanding on these issues. Fine. To take it, to consider it, to revise their decision, leave it to them. Because if something goes wrong tomorrow, they should be in a position to take the responsibility wholly on them. And it shall be their responsibility to rectify it and come on to the track. So give them the full responsibility, let them experience. Let them see the ups and downs of life. Leave them. That's part of teaching them, it's part of education, it's a part of making them matured. Let them do it. Here, we should have taught our children earlier to select a suitable partner. That is a responsibility on us. We have taught them rightly. Okay, this Vivaha Samskara results in Grihasthashrama. In his householdership, you are taking upon you certain special responsibilities. That is Vivaha. To take upon us some special responsibilities. That's the meaning of the word Vivaha. So these additional responsibilities have to be discharged by you, not individually, but jointly. So both of you should have these prerequisites, should have so much of capacity to discharge those duties, should have so much of knowledge to take care of the situations, should be capable of tackling problems which may arise in this fashion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these teachings, these guidelines should have been given earlier. If you have really given it, give a free hand to them. They'll be able to frame their life well. And another very important thing that we have to tell them is, here when you are taking a decision, you should not flirt. Number one, there should not be any sort of infatuation. You have to apply your mind, have everything under your control, analyze, think, then take a decision. If it's a flirt or infatuation or attraction, then you may get misled because all these things are superficial. If you take a decision and what you see at the outer level, and if you are not able to see what is inside, yes, you may land up tomorrow. The probability of you landing yourself in problem tomorrow will be more. So please don't get into such mode of infatuation or attraction, but look into it practically, how you are going to frame your future life, how you are going to build up your future life, and to what extent, if you are telling to the daughter his future and his outlook to life, how far it matches yours. To discuss, you think, to analyze, finally arrive at a decision. But while doing so, please be careful that you will not fall a prey to attractions, infatuations. It's very, very important. This you have to tell them, this you have to educate our children. So if you are able to educate this, giving them a free hand to choose their life partner will never land us in problems. So to educate them, equip them to choose their own partners, and let them choose their partners. We say yes, go ahead, God bless you. That's the end of it. Here, we have to tell them very clearly, the whole purpose is compatibility. So this compatibility you have to analyze, think and discuss, and don't depend on those which will not contribute for this compatibility. It is so much here in India. That is, they look into the horoscope, they look into the caste and so many other things. But never they will contribute to the compatibility part. It is their attitude and aptitude that works. So we have to concentrate on the aptitude, attitudes, the goals, the lifestyles, the health conditions. They will all be excellent. Now here, a little bit of deviation in the subject. We see nowadays A male choosing a male as life partner.
Yes.
A female choosing a female as a life partner. And of course, this is called as the gay and the lesbian culture.
Yes.
Though it is not so prominent here in India, but still it is there. But it is very marked in very, very other societies. They have got this gay relationship and the lesbian relationship. Now, one straight way of looking at it is not natural. It is not natural. Except in this human society, in all other societies, a male joining with a male, a female joining with a female is not seen. It's always a cross relationship between a male and a female. Because the ultimate purpose of their coming together, their mating, is to procreate, is to reproduce. Two males cannot reproduce, two females cannot reproduce. That itself is sufficient enough to say that is unnatural. Now, even though it is unnatural, they claim it as a right. As a human being, I have got a right to like whatever I want, to dislike whatever I want. So if we two males like to live together, fine, what to prevent it? So this independent spirit and this way of arguing in such a society where it holds water, yes, this lesbian and gay relationships are there. Nowadays, in many societies, they have officially recognized it. But officially recognize it is a human decision, is a decision of the law, is a decision of the administration. Still, it is not natural. Still, it's not natural. Law may accept it. Just because law has accepted, say gambling, it doesn't mean gambling is not a vice. Gambling is still a vice. But they might have it recognized by an administration and say, okay, you gamble, you give us so much tax. I don't interfere. This is a human arrangement, it's a human plan, it's a human understanding. But this cannot be said as right. There are two things. What is right, what is wrong. Another thing is, what things human people in their society they accept and don't accept. Both should have matched. What is natural should have been accepted. What is right should have been accepted. But in many societies, we find a lot of deviations. Now, this is one such pattern. What is not natural, we always consider it as a distortion, as a disease. So, they are diseased, not physically, but they are diseased mentally. Ayurveda speaks of it. Due to certain reasons, they enlist certain reasons and they say, if these reasons exist, then we find a peculiar nature in our children. That peculiar nature is a male gets attracted towards male and a female gets attracted towards female. Of course, in this process, hormonal things are also there. Hormonal problems are also there. Hormonal imbalances are also there. That is a piece of science, you all know it. There is every person, every human being has got both types of hormones. Those hormones which make the person male and those hormones which make the person female. If the male things are dominant, then that person becomes a male. And if female hormones are predominant, then they become a female. So this is a basic thing what we have got. And there are certain which are common to both. Now these conditions are medical conditions, psychological conditions, and have to be treated. They have to be treated. So only when we are able to treat it, yes, they also become normal human beings and they're natural. Now, this is a very, very important thing. Maybe what I'm telling now, most of the people will understand and will accept it. But the gays and lesbians, they don't accept it as easily as others. Because it's a problem for them. It's a problem for them. Now, just because it is not natural, I'm not telling they are bad, they are wrong, or so many things. I pity them because they have got some problem. So if they can overcome that problem and behave naturally, that would be excellent. there is an urge in every human being, except those where they are diseased, where they are not potent. Except such cases, everyone has got an urge to procreate, to reproduce, to have children. It's a natural urge. It's a natural urge. And accordingly, there are so many changes that are taking place in a human body at the hormonal level, at the psychological level. Fine. It's all acceptable. But as we see impotence, those people having that impotency, they cannot procreate. In the same way, those who have got attraction towards the same sex also cannot reproduce. So it is also a similar health condition, it is also a similar psychological condition. And we have to pity them. We have to pity them for so many reasons. And one major reason is the way their parents live together. And another reason is the environment where they are brought up. Say, if the parents, if they are not taken care of and their children was an accident, then such diseases could be there in the children, number one. Number two, the environment where they are brought up. Suppose a child is brought up in an environment where the female members are more. The female members are more. Then naturally, this child automatically behaves like a female, though physically it's a male. Because the influence of the environment is there. On the contrary, if a female child is brought in an environment where the male members are in a majority, then she also behaves like a boy, tomboy, it could be. So it all depends upon the hereditary factors, it also depends upon the environment. And because of the imbalance in both, yes, they become gays and lesbians. So this has to be considered as an unnatural disease condition and has to be treated accordingly under medical supervision, both physical and psychological. It will take a little time, it will take a little time. But still, they have to be brought onto the right track. They have to be enlightened. Okay, this is what your physique is demanding, but we are not animals. We are not animals. If we are animals, okay, we succumb to the physical demands. But as human beings, we have got a capacity to think, analyze, and take control of our body and sense organs. So that we have to do. Knowledge is required. Whatever practice is required, yes, we have to provide an opportunity for them to overcome that unnatural behavior. It's a behavioral problem. It's a hormonal problem. It's a psychological problem. So this we have to take care of. There are so many other reasons also for this gay culture and lesbian culture. That is, for reasons best known to them, they would have been cheated by the opposite sex. That's another reason. A male would have been cheated by a female. So that fellow will have enmity against the very sex itself. Okay, all females are like this, so let me not believe them. So let me lead my life together with another male. It could be the other way around also for a girl. Because she has been cheated by a male, she will have that vengeance upon the whole male folk. So she may not like any male. She may like another female who can compassionately understand what her problem is. Like this, you can make a very big list of so many things. But when we study the whole list, it's all because of problems, it's all because of their experiences, it's all because of unnatural happenings, what should not have happened. Finally, the result in this gay and lesbian culture. Everything said and done, the conclusion is it is unnatural, it's a diseased condition, and this has to be overcome. It has to be overcome. Because the very purpose of relationship between two, now once again I make it very clear, when I'm speaking of relationship, it could be at two levels. One is at the physical level, one is at the mental level. Of course, spiritual level is always there. Now, the physical relationship between two persons is exclusively for procreation. And they two, when they come together, In addition to procreation, if they use that relationship for pacifying, soothing one another also is excellent. But the primary goal, the primary target, the primary purpose of the two becoming together physically is for procreation. This we should not forget. In addition to it, they may use it as a tool to pacify each other also, to soothe nature also. That's excellent. But that will not come first. That takes a second place. Okay. Whereas in case of lesbian culture and gay culture, the second one takes the first place and the first one is totally irrelevant there. Because two males, two females cannot procreate. They cannot reproduce. It's a very big problem. But their physical intimacy pacifies them, that I'm not denying it. But that should have taken the second place, not the first place. Because that way of pacifying one another, that way of soothing one another is unnatural. It is a diseased condition. So that should take the second place. The first place is for procreation. For that, the relationship has to be between a male and a female. That too, because that mental and spiritual angles are also there. It has to be one male to one female and one female to another male. So these are all certain things that we have to consider. Of course, a lot of debates are going on this subject. But whatever we do, ultimately, if we think sanely, if you understand the very purpose, what is there in the nature, and when you understand the difference between an animal and a human being, yes, these things will become very clear. And we have to understand these things, but we are not hating them. Please note, we are not hating them. We are pitying them because they are in a diseased condition. As you look at a diseased person and nurse them, serve them, and bring them on to the health track, the same way to bring these people also onto the health track. If you are not capable of handling this problem suitably, yes, you say, okay, it's a problem, leave them to themselves, let them do whatever they want, and at the human level, at the administration level, at the government level, we officialize it and get along. But that doesn't cure the problem, that doesn't solve the problem either for the society or for that individual. They continue to be in that state of ill health. So this we have to tackle very reasonably, this we have to tackle with a lot of thought and with the help of the medical knowledge what we have got at the somatic level and the psychic level. Yes, we have to tackle this. Of course, along with this, you can understand certain problems that are faced by another group. They call it as transgender. So these transgenders too come into this purview, but their problems are a little bit different than the gays and the lesbians. So we also have to tackle that. That is also not natural. It is also a diseased condition at the physical and the mental level. Now, I stress once again that these people have to be pitied because they are in such an unnatural condition. Maybe because of hereditary, maybe because of hormonal imbalance, maybe because of environment, maybe because of their own psych disorders. They have to be pitied and they have to be treated like patients and brought onto the track. One thing I agree, it is not as easy as I'm telling. It may take little effort, but that effort is worth making so that they can lead a very natural life, at least in future. Okay, coming back. Now, after considering all these angles, now a bride chooses her partner. She is totally responsible to choose her partner. And in the same way, a groom is also equally free to choose one's partner. As I was telling, these two should be given some time to understand one another, and that we call it as courtship and not dating. Courtship and not dating. If I'm right, the difference is in dating, all types of relationships and all types of experiments are allowed. Whereas in case of courtship, yes, they can discuss, but no physical relation. They maintain a distance between the two. They don't try to experiment physically whether they are compatible or not. That element is not there. Because in human life, compatibility is not just physical, more it is at a psychological level. If there is compatibility at the psychological level, even if there is a little bit of incompatibility at the physical level, that can be managed, that can be tolerated, that can be adjusted. But if psychological compatibility is not there, even though there is wonderful physical compatibility, that falls down, that will not be successful. Because in human life, more stress is on the psychological compatibility. Of course, this will happen only when at a spiritual level they have got a certain understanding, certain knowledge about what life is, what I am, what's the purpose of life. They know all these things at the spiritual level. Compatibility at the mental level happens very easily, and even though there are certain deficiencies at the physical level, they can be overcome. Now this is the order, this is the importance to be given to all these things. But a physical relationship and compatibility is given the first priority, then it is animal life and not a human life. Now these things we have to consider. And finally, the bride chooses her partner and the groom chooses his partner. And as elders, they say, okay, we have studied your attitudes, your aptitudes, your lifestyles, and we find that you are compatible. Now this compatibility, I have told her, that is not 100%, it cannot be 100%. We are looking at maximum compatibility. If it is 51, fine, it's a wonderful pair. It's a wonderful match we are making. Now whatever the remaining 49, that they have to work and they have to build it up, they have to bridge the gap. And that is the purpose of Grihasthashrama also. That is fusing of, I repeat once again, that is fusing of two souls. Fusing of two souls. When I say fusing of two souls, that's through their body and mind, and at the soul level, that fusing is like a friendship. That is like a coexistence. That is like living together, not the one that we are seeing today, that's living together under spiritual environment. This is what we want. Living together at the physical level is not acceptable because they are not taking any responsibility. And they are very much interested in their selfish satisfactions, but not of the other person. I am not speaking of such living together, but I speak of living together within the spiritual framework. In the spiritual framework, they live together, one man to one wife and one wife to one man, and they have got a lot of understandings. They work together for common goals and for discharging of common special responsibilities, and that is Vivaha. So I think I have covered all the prerequisites or the introductory points that we have to discuss before a marriage, at the time of marriage. I will come to the actual ritual or the right parts of the right RATE, right parts of the Vivaha Samskara. There are so many steps in that while conducting the rituals. There are so many things. Three important things I am concentrating on. One is the Panigrahana part. The second one is the Laja Homa part. And third one is the Saptapadi part. Three very, very important phases of it. In this Panigrahana part, the groom promises to the bride that in our joint life, this is how I shall behave, this is how I shall work, this is how I shall discharge my duties. So he promises to the bride. And in return to it, the bride promises the groom, fine, that is excellent, in my future life with you, I shall discharge my duties like this. She gives so many promises to the groom. That is Laja Homa. And finally, in the Saptapadi part, both come to an understanding about the guiding principles of their joint life. Okay, these shall be our guiding principles, and both of us, we shall work for it and let our relationship end up in a beautiful friendship. That's how all the discussions end up. Starting from Panigrahana to Laja Homa Saptapadi. Finally, the whole thing culminates, the whole thing reaches a point, and that is a friendship between the husband and wife. Okay, let me discuss something about Panigrahana. The direct meaning of the word Panigrahana is to hold the hand, to shake the hand. Okay, the groom holds the hand of the bride and says, some very important things I'm telling. He says, I'm choosing you as my partner consciously. Amohamasmi is a word what they use it. Moha, that's infatuation, attraction. Amoham asmi. I am taking this deliberate decision consciously. And I find you as a suitable partner for my life. And while taking this decision, I am not under stress. I am not under attraction. I am not coerced. I am applying my mind and taking a conscious right decision. This he declares, Amohamasmi. I am not attracted by your external beauty. I am not attracted by your wealth. I am not forced by anyone to hold your hand. This I am doing on my own. This is what happens during the Vivaha Samskara. Prior to it, they would have discussed and they would have gone for this courtship and have tried to understand one another. Now it all has been successful. Now we are going to the exact Vivaha Samskara, and in that he says, I am doing this deliberately, consciously, after applying my mind. I am holding your hand, and here I am Amohamasmi. That's one very important thing. Then another very important thing here is Nasteya Madmi. This also I discussed earlier as a piece of Veda mantra. Nasteya Madmi. Steya is to cheat. Steya is to be unfaithful. Steya is infidelity. I can use any such word. Now I like you, I love you, I deliberately am holding your hand and I am becoming your life partner, your good friend, and this is going to be a long relationship. It's not for a day or two. I'm very clear that this relationship will continue for, they use one word that is called as Jaradashtiyaha. Jaradashtiyaha. In one of the mantras that word is used. Jara means old age. Jaradashtir yathasaha, it says. That is, I shall hold your hand and be your companion, be your friend till we are old. That's a long journey we are looking into. We are looking forward. We are looking forward for a long journey together. For that sake, I am holding your hand. And during this long journey, I shall not transgress, I shall not cheat you, I shall not enjoy without you. All my enjoyments shall be with you. Nasteya Madmi. I shall never be unfaithful. I shall be always faithful to you. So there's a commitment. There's a commitment by the groom to the bride. There are many other things. Okay, in the course of our discussion, we will take up the mantras in that Panigrahana Samskara, that part of that Vivaha Samskara, and understand the depth of it. I'm just passing on, because my ultimate purpose is to come to Saptapadi and explain it. So I'm just passing on. So here is Panigrahana, this is what the groom promises the bride. I shall be faithful to you. I shall not enjoy the company of any other woman but you. So this is a promise he gives. And whatever I want, whatever understanding is there, whatever bridging is there between us, okay, that I shall do with you and you alone. And I solicit your cooperation in this. And all this I am doing deliberately, consciously. I am not under force, I am not under stress, and I am not coerced. It is out of my free will. It's out of my free will I am doing it. Now that free will has to be given to the groom, it has to be given to the bride. And interference of the parents in their decision is not valid at this stage, very clear. Then, for all these things, the bride says, it's fine, it's fine. I shall be your life partner. And during that, I shall work for the development and progress of you and your family. Now here one important thing is to be understood. Usually, the bride changes the quarters. The bride moves to the groom's house, husband's house, from the place where she has taken birth. From the parents' house to the groom's house, she just shifts. Is it a rule? No, it's not a rule. It could be the other way around also. But the general practice is the bride shifts her quarters to, the wife shifts her quarters to the husband's group. New relationships are established. She lives there with those people. She leaves her house where she has taken birth, her parental house, parental family, parental environment. There's a change in the environment. But I'm repeating, this is not a rule. It's not a rule. But most of the time it happens. Because one psychological aspect is this we have to consider. Why so? That is, in future, after marriage, after Vivaha Samskara, she has to bear the child. She has to bear the child. So bearing child is accepting. Bearing child will happen only after accepting the sperm in her body. Only when she accepts that sperm, then she will be able to procreate. Thus, the sperm, as far as this woman is concerned, it is something external. It is something foreign. It is not a product of her body. It's a product of some other body which she has to accept it. Now, we have got an immune system in our body where anything that is foreign is rejected. There's an immune system what we have got. This is a very serious problem. The immune system works in such a way that it throws out anything foreign. That's a very serious problem when you're speaking of transplantations of body organs. Say part of the liver is transplanted, a kidney is transplanted, the walls in the heart are there transplanted. There are so many such things. Skin is transplanted. Now in all such cases, doctors face it a very serious problem because the immune system in the body throws out, will not accept anything foreign. And I say foreign, not a product of its own body. If it's a product of its own body, yes, it accepts it, otherwise it won't. Of course, a big branch of science is taking to tackle this problem. They speak of what is called as stem cells. Stem cells are the cells of the same person. And those cells are used to develop the organs of the person. And it is their own, it's a part of their own body, their own cells. So the probability of rejecting it is very less here. So a lot of research is going on in that stem cell science. But for that, in general, anything that is foreign, it is not a product of the body throws it out. Say it could be a small particle of dust which enters into our nostril. We sneeze and sneeze and sneeze until it goes out, we are not comfortable. A small particle of dust, I am telling you. It could be a small piece of taran which will enter into our food. Until the body throws it out, it will not rest. So it creates a wound, a lot of pus will happen, and that pus will finally come out along with that piece of taran, and the body is comfortable now. All such infections, in general, they are all created, they all happen in the body to throw out something not palatable to the body, not suitable to the body. It is something foreign, something which has come from external. And it's a very big challenge to the doctors at the time of transplants. So what they use is, as on date, and in future maybe they go for stem cells and other things. But as on date, what they do is, they give immunosuppressants. That is, they give such medicine which will suppress the functioning of the immunity which is natural in human body. This is all science what I am speaking of. So they give these immunosuppressants, the immunity will not function to that level, and whatever foreign gets accepted into the body or is forced to accept, because that immunity which rejects it is suppressed. That is what they do at the time of transplantations. Anything external, when it's transplanted, they have to give these immunosuppressants. What I am telling you is, the natural way of reacting to something foreign by a human body is first to reject it and throw it out. But if it happens in the framework what we are seeing, that is Vivaha Samskara and Garbhadhana Samskara, and accept the sperm so that it becomes a fertilized egg and reproduction takes place. Now in this context, the sperm what it receives, the body of the female receives, it is an external thing, and the first tendency is to throw it out because it's something foreign, to reject it. But if it rejects, reproduction will not take place. Now this is a very tricky situation. So we are working out on an immunosuppressant, but this is not in the form of any medicine or pill or any such thing. Now that immunosuppressant is, I don't call it a suppressant, they say that you are changing the quarters to a new environment, and this new environment you are accepting it mentally and spiritually as your own. Your father-in-law and mother-in-law, you are considering as your own father and mother. That is, you are trying to adjust, you are trying to understand those which are really foreign for you, which is new to you, as your own. You are making it your own. Now the brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws, you are considering them as your own brothers and sisters. The house where you are going to live, you are considering as your own. So a lot of things are accepted, a lot of things are accommodated. And this accommodation in all these relationships and the change of place automatically works that there is no rejection. There is no rejection. We are accepting, we are accommodating. So this attitude of accepting and accommodating will have an impact on the physical thing also, and that little foreign thing what comes in, that also gets accommodated and adjusted. There's the impact at the physical level, starting from the spiritual, social, and this mental level. So these changes at these levels, at the spiritual, at the social, and at the psychological level, will work as an immunosuppressant and will happily accept that foreign thing, and the reproduction will continue. This is a very, very subtle way of understanding this. So most of the time, the bride is asked to move to the groom's house and to adjust and to accommodate that whole environment and all the new relationships, which ultimately works as an immunosuppressant at the level of accepting sperm, which is not its own, but which is foreign. Okay. But this is not insisted upon. Maybe under some special circumstances, they don't change the quarters, or maybe the husband goes to the wife's house. Excellent, it's all right. We are not against it, but most of the time this is what happens. And these are some rare cases, fine, it may happen depending upon the special circumstances in their environment. So now this is accepted, and the sperm and the ovum fertilize and the reproduction takes place. Now in this background, giving this background, The bride says to the groom, that is the wife says to the husband, in future, I am part of your family. Your parents are my parents. Your brothers and sisters are my brothers and sisters. I am leaving my house where I have taken birth. I am leaving out those relationships and trying to knot myself with these new relationships. And here, I shall feel them as my own. I shall work for the prosperity and progress of you, your family, your parents, your brothers and sisters. And I take pleasure in doing it. I shall do it wholeheartedly. Here also, once again, I am amohamasmi. It's a deliberate, conscious decision of mine. Nobody is forcing. And I'm not looking at any other thing but adjustment, but living together with you. So this is a promise that is given by the bride to the groom. Now on these two, that is promises given by the groom to the bride and bride to the groom, once again, they got certain mantras in the Laja Homa. This we call as the Laja Homa. Okay. Laja is the puffed rice. Puffed rice is known as the Laja. Now when we fry this rice, it blooms, it gets puffed. In the same way, my heart is puffed, that is with an open heart, with an enlarged heart, not medical thing. With a broad mind, I am telling this. So that is called as Laja Homa. With a broad mind, with an open mind, with a heart which has blossomed, I am speaking this. With my own conscious decision, with my own conscious thinking, I am promising to you. I shall be with you, you shall be my companion, and I shall work for the progress and prosperity of you and your family. It doesn't mean that the relations with my parents, the relationship with my house where I have taken birth is ceased. No, that relationship too continues, but it shall take the second place. It shall take the second place. My getting adjusted to your family is my first priority, and of course my relationship with my parents, with my brothers and sisters, my earlier quarters where I was living, yes, that all continues, and I pray for their well-being also. This is the essence of Laja. Now upon this, the promises that I have exchanged, now they are coming to some understanding between themselves, which shall be the guiding principles for both. It is not that husband is a master of the house and the wife has to obey him. Or it is not that the wife is the lord of the house and the husband has to obey. No. Both of them together obey certain guidelines which they have prescribed for themselves. Those guidelines become the master of the house. Those guidelines become the superior thing in the house, and both husband and wife follow it. Both husband and wife, they practice it for a common goal. Now those things are understood as 7 steps, 7 stages where they build upon that relationship between the two. And only after going on to the 7th step and completing it, they become husband and wife. Till then, they are called as Vadhu, Vara, the bride and the groom. They would have not become husband and wife. They'll become husband and wife after taking the 7th step. Now this is what the Vedas say, and this is what the law here in India it says. We have got a law called as Hindu Marriage Act. So this Hindu Marriage Act, Section 7, it says very clearly that two are pronounced as husband and wife after taking the 7th step of the Saptapadi. Then they become husband and wife, and the marriage is solemnized. The marriage is solemnized after taking the 7th step. If that 7th step is not taken, legally they are not husband and wife. Okay. There is no binding between them as that of a husband and a wife. This is a law here. And the Vedas also speak of the same thing. Now, so these 7 steps what they take, or the 7 stages in which they come to an understanding, becomes very crucial. So Saptapadi is the core of, Saptapadi is the heart of Vivaha Samskara. So what are these 7 steps? What are the 7 guidelines? What they take upon themselves so that they can frame their future joint life. To understand it becomes very crucial, and I'll just dictate all the 7 steps and let me explain them in the coming classes.
Okay.
Isha Ekapadi Bhava. The first one. Isha Ekapadi Bhava. Isha Ekapadi Bhava. Sha is that Murdhanya. Isha. Isha Ekapadi Bhava. Urje Dvipadi Bhava. Urje Dvipadi Bhava. Rayasposhaya. Rayasposhaya. Sha is again Murdhanya. Rayasposhaya. Tripadi Bhava. Rayasposhaya. Tripadi Bhava. Mayo Bhavyaya. Mayo Bhavyaya. Chatushpadi Bhava. Mayo Bhavyaya. Chatushpadi Bhava. Prajabhyaha. Prajabhyaha. Panchapadi Bhava. Prajabhyaha. Panchapadi Bhava. Ritubhyaha. R is Swara. Vowel. Ritubhyaha. Shatpadi Bhava. Ritubhyaha. Shatpadi Bhava.
Sakhe.
Last one. Sakhe Saptapadi Bhava. Sakhe Saptapadi Bhava. Sakha Saptapadi Bhava is also there, no problem.
Okay.
So these are the 7 steps, 7 guiding principles, which is common to both husband and wife. And by the time they take the 7th step, yes, they become husband and they are declared husband and wife. As you see in a church, the father, yes, are you prepared to take her as your partner? Yes, father. Are you prepared to take her? Do you like her as your life partner? Yes, sir. Okay, fine. Now I pronounce you as husband and wife. Yes, they become husband and wife. Now it's a pronouncement by the father. But here it's a pronouncement by the two themselves. They say we are taking the 7th step for this purpose, and once they take that 7th step, yes, they are
Husband.
understood as husband and wife. They are bound. They are bound physically, mentally, socially, legally, ethically, spiritually. This bindings will take place by the time they take the 7th step. Okay, what does each of these steps denote? What are the things that have gone into these steps? Yes, we shall discuss in the coming sessions.